Good morning. All right. I hope you guys had a good weekend because I did. Anyways, I'm going to go over today. Today will be the same, just like every day. I'm going to go over these slides and explain the assignment to you. Now, I am doing something different now on Canvas in that I'm posting the modules will be by the week now. Okay, so this is week 6, I believe, but it's September 28th through October 2nd. And so basically, what you're going to do is you go to Canvas, you'll find the specific module because it has the dates right there on it, and then click on the page, September 28th, that correlates with the day's date, and it'll have on that page, it'll have the assignment with the stuff you need to look at in order to complete the assignment, such as the PowerPoint or my lecture videos as well. So I'm trying to streamline this and make it as simple as I can for you guys. You're welcome. We're going to look at the powers of Congress today, and I'm going to explain that to you. So remember, this whole unit is about the legislative branch being Congress. So the powers that Congress has. Article 1 is what sets up the legislative branch, but it does limit some of the powers of Congress, and it also gives or defines the powers that Congress has. So let's look at it. An express power. Remember, an express power is one that is specifically stated in the Constitution. Delegated, they're listed. It says it right there. Now, these are all examples of an express power to coin money, to tax, to declare war, make laws, maintain a military. Now, one of the questions on the quiz is a true or false question. I'm telling you the answer right here. Does it say Congress has the power to make an Air Force? No, it doesn't. Okay. Now it says it has the power to make a military, but not make an Air Force. And so that's one of the questions. Now, the reason I left it on there is because I used to have the textbooks. I have the students look at the textbooks, and it says it right there in the textbook. But you guys don't have the textbooks with you. Now you do have the online textbook, which I linked on Canvas, but I just told you the answer. False. Does not give Congress does not have the power to raise an Air Force. But make sure you look at these examples that are listed or express powers. Something that is different from an express power is an implied power. So something that I would say, the way I teach students express versus implied is one day when you guys, if you get married, you would probably tell your spouse, "I love you." Right? You may, but that would be an express power, literally telling them, "I love you." An implied power would be maybe giving them a gift, um, giving them a ring, right? That's going to be implied. You're not expressively saying "I love you," but because you give them a ring or something, they know that you love them. That's just an example I used. So that's implied. Implied means it's not specifically stated, but it's implied that it means Congress actually does have it. This is through to the clauses. The necessary and proper clause, which is also known as the elastic clause. That's another question on your quiz. Elastic meaning Congress has the power to stretch its powers to meet the needs of the country. This is through the interpretation of the Constitution. So Congress it has other powers other than just those expressed. That these are what's known as implied powers. They can, or the elastic clause, they can stretch its power to meet the needs of the country. A broad interpretation of the Constitution. All right, not a strict one, but a more broad one. Because what our founders realized is that the country is going to evolve. All right, the country is going to come up with new problems in the future new situations are going to arise where Congress needs the authority to deal with those powers. So even though they can't foresee the exact problem that's going to happen, they just make this elastic clause or necessary and proper clause, which still gives Congress the power to deal with those future problems. Regulate air pollution. I guarantee you in 1787, there was 1789, there was no thought of like air pollution going on during that time. Well, now there is, because now there is, and Congress has the power to deal with that problem because of this elastic clause. The same way with air traffic or regulating TV. They didn't have television in 1787, 1789, but what they wrote in there was the necessary and proper clause, which allows Congress to deal with these problems that have arisen since then. Additional powers, all right, power to investigate or hold congressional hearings. An example I often cite with this is they had congressional. If you like baseball, which I do, I coach baseball here at the school. There was a scandal involving steroids or performance enhancing drugs in the late 90s with baseball and early 2000s. Congress had congressional hearings on this, and they come up with commissions to find the facts about certain cases that they're looking at. Power to propose amendments. That is, they can come up with amendments and propose them. Now remember, amendments are very hard to get passed, but they have the power to propose those amendments. Another big one here is the power to impeach or accuse a government official of wrongdoing. So if you know from last semester there, they impeached Donald Trump, the president. Now he wasn't convicted, but the impeachment goes with Congress. That's a power they have. It starts with the House of Representatives and goes to the Senate, because remember, the Senate is the upper house. That is the power that's on the quiz. Now, don't think just because Donald Trump got impeached that presidents are the only ones that get impeached. The official that is most often impeached are federal judges. That is a question on the quiz. So I just told you an answer. When that one comes up, federal judges are the ones that are most often impeached. So they can impeach senators, they can impeach congressmen, federal judges, Supreme Court judges, presidents, vice presidents. All these people can be impeached, but the one that is impeached the most is federal judges. We've only had 3 presidents face an impeachment trial, and none of the 3 were convicted. But we have had 3. So the powers of the House this is where all appropriation or money related bills must start in the House. So all money related bills must start in the House. So that's kind of the power that they have, is to start these bills that eventually become law that have to do with money. The House of Representatives picks a president if no winner is declared in the Electoral College. So this only happened twice. Really, the big one is in 1824, but it also happened in 1800. So if no person in the Electoral College has a majority, then what happens is it goes to the House of Representatives. And if you have me for American History 1, we'll study specifically 1824, what happens in that process, in that case, but we won't get into it. The House brings articles of impeachment forth. So that's where the process of impeachment starts, with the House of Representatives. A list of charges are drawn up. And then what presidents have been impeached during your lifetime? I guess maybe only one during your lifetime. That would be Donald Trump. During my lifetime, 2, because I'm older, right? Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Now, neither one were convicted. The third one is your 17th president of the United States, Andrew Johnson. And contrary to probably what all y'all believe, I was not alive when he was impeached. All right, that was in 1868, I believe. So, or 67, 66, somewhere around there. So I wouldn't have lied then. But he was the other one that got impeached, but he was not convicted. That's the powers of the House. The powers of the Senate. Remember, the Senate is the upper house in that bicameral Congress. They approve presidential ambassadors or appointments. So what's going on now is the president just appointed a new Supreme Court judge because Ruth Bader Ginsburg just died last week. The president appoints them, but they have to be confirmed by the Senate. They also they appoint ambassadors. They approve the treaties that the president signs. So the president can sign another treaty, but it must be ratified or backed up by the Senate. They act as the jury in the impeachment trial. So remember, the House brings forth the articles of impeachment, and then the Senate acts as the jury. They have to be convicted by the Senate. Don't think of an impeachment trial as a criminal trial because it's not. It's a political trial. All right. For instance, in this last impeachment of Donald Trump, the House of Representatives, Donald Trump is a Republican. The House of Representatives has a majority Democrats in there. So they would be invested in bringing forth those articles of impeachment because they are for the other party. But now the Senate has a majority with the Republicans. So that's why he didn't get convicted. Because it's a political trial. Right? He was probably never going to get convicted because the jury, being the Senate, has a majority of Republicans who come from the same party as Donald Trump. They pick a vice president, and the winner in the Electoral College is decided. But don't worry about that one as much. Other limits. So some of the limits with the powers of Congress, that 10th Amendment, all rights, all powers not given, national government are reserved to the state government. But the checks and balances, that's a big one. Each branch can limit the power of the other branches. This maintains balance through it. Remember, so the Supreme Court can look at those laws that Congress passes and they can declare it unconstitutional. So if you go back to that example I gave you, paper, rock, scissors. All right. Paper is writing the law. That's the legislative branch. They write the law. The Supreme Court can literally cut that law out because it's not constitutional. That's a limit on their power. All right. So the assignment, or it's a quiz, you can take it up to 3 times. It's on Canvas. It is the Powers of Congress quiz. Remember, from now on, each day you go at Canvas and look at the page that correlates with the date of the day you're on Canvas. So today is September 28th. Click on that. It's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Tomorrow is September 29th. Click on that. It's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. All right. So I made it easy for you. You're welcome.